How much do we need to invest in? And if we invest in certain ways, what could be the impact at how many deaths we can avoid, how many liver transplants we can avoid. And at the same time, we showed that this program can be cost saving. So that was very important. So that gives them then the incentive to launch such a plan, a program nationally.
Yeah.
This is one example of like the policy level here.
Yeah, because I don't think a lot of people know about policy space because it's such a core to how modern society works, but it's also like a blind spot for like the regular people to know how much work goes into it. So just define a little bit about like what is a healthcare policy and what is policy making in general and what role it plays in our own lives on a daily basis.
Right.
Yeah.
Another example would be like screening for cancer, early detection. For certain cancers, we have screening policies. For others, we don't. And then why? To make those decisions, we need some evidence. We also need to show the economic impact of such policies before they are implemented. So these are examples.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think, that's the thing. Like, I think sometimes people just look at the news or feel like, like everything is done on a whim. Like people just decided to do all these things and then they decided to stop all the things. But there's a lot of thought that goes into it and a lot of research that also goes into it. And I hope it continues because right now where America is headed is a little bit scary. Yeah.
Another example is COVID. During COVID times, we were actively involved in looking at how COVID is spreading in different states. And then there were questions about the economy. Should we have stay-at-home orders? Should we open the economy? Should we open restaurants? Should we have these football games in large stadiums? These are all questions somebody had to answer. And we used mathematical models to inform what could be the consequences of taking action A versus B. And then you make a decision according to that. What is the right thing to do?
Yeah, definitely. So what do you guys do at the company that you're a chief scientific officer at, the Value Healthcare Analytics?
We provide support to life sciences companies. And on taking COVID example, we worked with Gilead Sciences and Johnson & Johnson. When in the early days of the pandemic, there was one that drug for COVID that was there available. And then we worked with Gilead to understand how many drugs do they need to manufacture the medicines, because how fast COVID is spreading in different countries. Because they had to know the demand to manufacture that much. So we worked with Gilead Sciences and provided, using our mathematical models, we provided them those data on weekly basis.
Yeah, that was a really big time for a lot of professionals in the healthcare space, and all the big decisions and the fast decisions you guys had to take, and the implications were like so big and so wide that I'm sure it was stressful. Did meditation help too? Next time, I'm sure you meditated a lot.
It was definitely stressful because for the reasons you mentioned, because the impact was very high with whatever actions were taken. They had a big impact.
Yeah. And not always, like, I think that happens in our careers as we grow more and more, like all our decisions have those big impacts. So what is your framework for decision making? I know as a scientist and as a professional in the industry, I'm sure you're making a lot of decisions all the time. Like, how do you think through them? Because I feel like a lot of professionals are in decision fatigue, always worried about, oh my God, what will my boss say or manager say? And like, I feel like at least the people I work with, women in general, in STEM, I think there's just a lot of like, they don't feel empowered to take sometimes decisions. A lot of minorities also don't feel empowered that I can actually speak my mind. I can actually say the things I want to say. And I feel like there's a lot of decision fatigue, and that leads to your blocks your growth because your projects are not moving fast enough. You're not delivering results fast enough. If you have a framework or the way you look at decisions, like what's your advice on decision fatigue, I guess?
Yeah, I just haven't thought, sorry.
Okay.
I haven't thought formally about that, what my decision framework is. But if I can reflect upon that, it's I would say, is both the science and art. The science is you get all your facts together and then see what is making sense. And the art is having intuition also plays a role.
Yeah.
Combining these two together.
Yeah. I think intuition is not taught.
Yeah. How do you don't take classes to like become more intuitive. It just happens over time. Yeah. Sometimes some people are naturally intuitive, others can train themselves to be more intuitive. And this is where I think the meditation can play a big role.